Hey, this is Love, and you're listening to Encourage Yourself on YouTube with me. So today's topic will be about expectations. Have you ever considered the expectations that you want in your life? Do you expect something out of your spouse or your children? What about the expectations for your career? Really think about these expectations, and have you ever noticed in your own life that meeting your expectations didn't happen overnight? That it didn't happen the very next day or within a very short span of time? No, it did not. So you have to consider this in moving forward in your relationships, with your children, your family, your spouses, your business relationships, and your personal relationships. Because we want to come with high expectations. We hear the cliche, oh, keep your expectations high. This is true. You do keep your expectations high, but you give people time to meet your expectations. Now, think about where they're coming from. You can't expect someone to be stable if they didn't come from a stable background and they have not spoken to or been mentored in that area of their life. They may be at the bottom. But does not mean if you're strong-minded and y'all come together, you could be that person that encourages that person in that area. And they can meet your expectations and exceed those expectations with the right kind of person that's going to commit to that. You have to be willing to know what you are able to commit to in a relationship and with your children. Like, if you expect your children to make good grades, I expect mine at some point in their life to make all A's and really pursue for that, because that is the goal. But I have a daughter that does struggle with her grades and the fact that she is not doing well on the hybrid learning or on the internet learning right now. So as soon as she makes all C's, because she's coming from all F's, as soon as she makes all C's, or as soon as she makes some progress, I praise her in that area, because although she has not quite met my expectations, there is progress in that area. I don't think you hear me right now. If the person is trying to make a progress in the area with where you are expecting them to meet, then that is something to consider as a great thing. What we want is, we want someone to come in our life and them automatically have everything, and then you wonder why it's so boring, because you haven't been through anything with someone. You haven't grown with them. You haven't seen them transform. You haven't seen how they process things and how they maneuver their life. You just expecting that they're supposed to have all these things in order, and guess what? Really consider this. You're not all in order. If you really look at your life and what you have going on currently, you are not in order. There's a lot of things about you that you can work on and that you would probably want to be better at. So if a person come in and says to you, I expect you to have your own car, your own crib, your own money for me to talk to you, you will feel so offended, because if you don't have all three, or maybe you only have one thing, it may get frustrating, because you might be like, dog, I don't have those things, so how am I gonna meet it? You will boggle in your mind so much that it will frustrate you, and that's how relationships are. You're already frustrated in relationships because either the communication's not there, y'all come from two different backgrounds, and y'all really don't know each other. So y'all have to learn each other ins and out. And if it's someone you want willing to love and commit to through whatever it is process that you need, then that's will be the best option for you. But when you come into these relationships and say, oh, there need to be marriage material, are you marriage material? Have you considered your marriage material about yourself? No, you haven't, because you want to set your bar so high, and then when people don't meet those goals, it's like, oh, on to the next. And what you don't realize is you're creating space for your own loneliness for the rest of your life, because you think that it's not possible to be human. We are human. And although we have expectations, you keep those expectations high. But if a person really loves you and you have already told them that you are expecting something in a certain area, or this is not going to happen here, but we need to see changes. If they are making some change, be grateful. because there are a lot of relationships and a lot of a lot of people out there that's not even seeing that. And you see stagnated relationships and growth. And if you see something in that person cares enough to see how you feel and to try to meet your expectations. And although it may take a person years, it may take a person months, but you have to be patient, because you have to recognize that you have been there at a point in your life where you were not where you wanted to be in your own expectations. So you cannot expect someone to have achieved your expectations soon as you meet them on the spot, because you're going to be disappointed, you're going to be frustrated by it, and you're going to wonder what's wrong with you. And there's nothing wrong with you. You're just human, and they are too. A person who really loves you, as long as you state your demands and what you want from them and your expectations up front, and it is honest, and it's not something that is going to be deadly or detrimental to them, you will see growth. If it's something that is a very good thing and you're trying to coach them in a better direction, then you will see it. But you have to be patient in their ability to meet those expectations, and not always be condescending about your own self. And if you're going to support somebody, if you're going to commit to someone and you really want to be with them, and you know for a fact that you have stated what you want from them, then you have to give it time to grow and nurture, because you didn't get to where you are overnight. Some of us didn't achieve a whole lot of things until we got to the age of 30 years old or more. So let's consider those things and be humble, because you're going to find yourself lonely if you continue to do it that way. But be blessed, and just remember that when creating high expectations, those are very necessary, and it's okay. It's okay to have high expectations, but allow someone the opportunity to have progress, or at least show progress, and appreciate the progress as they go. If you praise them at the lower stage, before you know it, they'll be right at the level and the expectations that you want. I have seen it for myself, and it's amazing to watch and amazing to see someone who loves you try to grow in an area where you are very confident in an area where you really want them to be successful or be better in. So let's consider that today. And yes, I do have a podcast. It is on different platforms, and I will be sharing the link down at the bottom of this YouTube video. So please like and subscribe, and share this with your family and your friends if you feel it necessary that they have high expectations of someone in their life that really needs a little help, or they don't have patience. You could share this with them, because we all deserve high expectations being met, but we have to understand that you can't think for a second that it's going to happen overnight, because nothing happened overnight for you. Although God is good and he make things happen, we still have to go through a journey and a process in our life to achieve the things that we need to achieve, because there are things we need to learn in the process, and that makes it worth the wait and worth the process. Thank you, and God bless.